okay, we understand the 7 levels of spiritual amnesia. One more time, here they go. Now that we're at this place where we can say, we understand the 7 levels of spiritual amnesia, you know that now we have to get into today's lesson, which is the principle, the pattern, and the path. So, we talking about, I like to teach from principles. When you understand the principle, you can find your own way. When you understand the principle, you can find your own way. So let's move from principle tonight. In Transcendent Psychology, I like the teaching from principles because once you understand the principles, it's easy to find the pattern and it's easy to find the path forward. So I like to talk in terms of principle, pattern, and path. Let's handle the principle first. Here we go. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep my board. I know Twin had an issue last week. He was talking about get a bigger board. Uh, um, but I'm not trying to have it be too clunky in this joint. You know what I mean? So here we go. This concept of spiritual amnesia. Okay, I already know I need to write that way bigger. Let me go ahead and do that. This concept of spiritual amnesia happens what I'm calling this concept of spiritual amnesia. This happens once you forget the self. That's the principle. All spiritual amnesia, all 7 levels of spiritual amnesia are really just one level of forgetting the self. They are 7 stages of mutation after you've forgotten the self. The self is more than your body. The self is more than your mind. It's more than your intellect. It's more than your capacity for reasoning. It's more than left hemisphere of the brain, right hemisphere of the brain. We see that modern science tells us that our universe appeared from a big bang, a single speck of matter. But as the single speck of matter expands, it never becomes 2 things. It only looks that way. It's not like another speck of matter came through from another universe and started adding up. Like, no, it's not a cumulative pile. It's an expansion. A single speck of substance expanding and becoming our known universe. That's what the situation is. That single substance, if you wanted to take the matter model. In Transcendent Psychology, we don't really take the matter model. We just say consciousness. But for people who do like that route, either way, that single substance is the self. We recognize that there can be no distinction. If God is infinite, there cannot be another place where God isn't. In other words, that infinity of God must run through each of us to the point where an each of us isn't even possible. It's just infinity, which means it's just God. That God is what we call the self. More than just yourself. We're talking about the self. Let me know if that's not making sense. We're talking about the self. That's the principle. That spiritual amnesia Spiritual amnesia happens once you forget the self. Okay. Let me know in the chat. Put one in the chat if that's making sense to you. I don't mind pausing and articulating this a different way. Before we move on to the pattern, let me know that you got the principle. Before we move on to the pattern, let me know that you got the principle.